Should applying for a job be as simple as swipe right? Is that it should it be that easy? I think the answer is yes. I really do. And what we're looking at though is I don't think that the average business owner, the average hiring manager, HR system is prepared for what that will mean. And that's where my concern is on this. We're going to take a look at an article today about an app that is out there that's allowing people simply just to automatically apply for jobs all over the place. And the issue that comes up with that right now, right? Say we're a you are looking for a job, you're applying for jobs. We have to go to a web job, that company's website. We have to create a login. We have to then go through the process of verifying our email and all the other steps, right? And then we finally get the pleasure of being able to upload our resume and then take everything from that resume and then put it into the applicant tracking system. And then possibly maybe kind of at some point hear from a hiring manager if they don't just straight up ghost us. And then rinse, repeat 100, 200, 300 times. When instead, right, each one of those processes is going to take you between 20, 30 an hour, right? It's going to take a while to do all those things. When instead you can just go swipe. And now I applied to that job and swipe. We're going to do this one. Oh, I don't like that job, and swipe to the left, to where it's automatically happening. And I think the answer is yes, that's how we want it to be. But right now we're going to be running into with these companies and their processes and procedures. I think we're going to end up in a bit of a mess, but we're going to take a look at it here. We're going to, at the actual app, we've got an article from Futurism where they talk about it. We're going to go to the actual iStore, the application, trying to think of for iPhone. We're actually going to look at the App Store. I don't know why I couldn't say App Store. Good Lord. Go to the App Store, and then we're going to look at the website. I'm just learning a little bit more about them and see what's up there. Okay. So, and then we're going to talk about with my clients, like, hey, we talk about hiring all the time. Well, what does this mean for how we want to manage things? I'm going to give you the, really what we're doing. And I think you're going to be surprised at how we're cutting almost all of this out of the system. For those that don't know, my name is Ryan Howe. I'm a business coach. Ryan Howe, right here. Here's me. Business coach. I work out of West Michigan, around the country. And I come here on YouTube live consistently most days, sharing information I share with my clients, and I hope to earn your subscription. Now, link as always to the articles are going to be down in the description, so be sure to go check that out. This is from Futurism, and again, they parasitic startup pollutes job. They've got a negative spin on this, and I understand why they're doing it. I want to come to this. I'm coming to this with as unbiased as I can get, because ladies and gentlemen, everything that's been built out so far has been on the company side to make things easier in theory for HR and the hiring managers, right? All of the applicant tracking systems and every process is built to make it easier for the companies, more work for the applicants. So now you have somebody who's flipped it around and said, hey, we're going to make it easier for the applicants to go through and navigate your system. And I think I see where people are concerned, but I want to give it a fair shot too, because at the end of the day, the system's broke. So let's throw some mud at the wall and see what sticks, right? All right, so look, it's a hard job market out there. Not only has new job creation slowed to a drip, but the positions that do exist are increasingly hidden behind a labyrinthian, nice word, AI screening software and bizarre HR scams, which they do have. I think this person may have the author on this. What's their name? Joe Wilkins. I don't think Joe has had a good hiring story last time they were looking for it. I have a feeling they're a bit biased. Not to worry, because a new startup is rising to help job seekers brute force their way into one of the worst job markets. Consequences be damned, right? Called Source. And again, Futurism does usually have like a negative slant, so I shouldn't be surprised on this. The business looks to make applying for jobs easy as hunting for one night stand. Basically, they're saying they are the Tinder of the job application world, of job market. No job, basic tagline. Again, they Tinder for jobs. They found they currently host 1.6 million vacant positions and roughly 400,000 job seekers. The whole thing works like this. Again, they're going to upload your resume and format their personal info. Once up and running, they're presented with various gigs one by one, which they can swipe left to reject or right to apply, just like a dating app. And when the user swipes right, the AI agent, right, that they have navigates to the company's website and applies on their behalf. And what they're doing when they have this here is, again, they are removing the, that friction piece of it that is just annoying for folks, that they have to go to every website, create a login, all the things we talked about, and they're cutting through that. And, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I would say for the applicants, it's absolutely great, right? You've already done the work once, having to reformat it a million times just to possibly maybe get a call. It's annoying. I get it. But what's that going to do to the overall environment? And I think that's what let's look at the app first. So here's just the app. You can see it here in the App Store in the preview. And again, it's fairly straightforward. They walk you right through the steps. AI job search, upload the resume, swipe right to apply, and it does all these things. You can track the application. It's going to let you know where it's at, so it doesn't end up in the void. You can see when it's been looked at. You can see other aspects. Now, ZipRecruiter has had some versions of this, but this is the first where they're really going this deep with it. And again, what do I think is going to come of this? I think that the businesses are going to have to find a way to fight back against this, and we'll get into that in a little bit. All right, so Tinder for Jobs. We gotta love the fact that this is their marketing ploy. It's not that they're they're better or they have greater results. That's the other thing, as far as getting you work and getting getting those jobs for you. They're simply just saying it's easier. I think that's where that is why I'm not necessarily against this, because this is something we should be testing out and see if it works, see if it helps. Is it makes better connections, and we're able to shorten the time frame for people who are applying for work and getting hired. Right? We want to be able to see if this works or not. So, like I said, I'm keeping I have an open mind when it comes to this. So sources, Tinder but for Jobs, again, since August 2024, 7.5 million swipes, helping candidates secure hundreds of interviews daily. And you can see they've got prestigious companies, Peloton, they got Penn, Vercel, Robinhood, Geico, Red Bull, Bank of America. We already talked about that. They've got a few case studies you can look at here. But other side of this, I want to say, one thing is surprises how diverse our user base has become. Source now caters to job seekers across the entire employment spectrum, from entry-level retail positions to senior executive roles in software engineering, marketing, and sales. Again, platforms from everyone, regardless of industry. Unlike job marketplace, the Source is not a marketplace, at least for now. Right? That's an important piece. Instead, we scrape jobs just like Indeed, but with significant enhancement, we help you apply. All right, so that's the overview. That's kind of what they're talking about. Now, here's the concerns that I have, and then we're going to get into what me and my clients are doing. This is great that anything we can do to make it easier for job applicants to be able to, job seekers to apply for jobs and give them the help they need in order to make sure that the jobs they're applying for are jobs that they're going to be successful at is a good thing. One of the main issues we run into when we're hiring and things of that nature has to do with job mismatches. We have people who are applying for jobs that they actually are not the right fit for. If these AI agents that are all working together are able to come through and help people better filter that, that's going to just make for a better process for that individual, because they're the right fit for that job. If they are helping to clear these things out, as far as limit who's going to be there, that should also, in theory, limit the pool of applicants, hopefully, to a better fit, right, for the job for those companies. That's the theory. And ultimately, when they are the right fit, they go through the hiring process, they get hired. We would also hope that it's going to extend the time that these people are in those jobs, right? The right fit. So they found the work that they're going to do for an extended period, which should also help cut back on turnover, those turnover costs, et cetera, and just the impact it has on teams constantly having to turn people over. Okay, so that's the theory. That's what people are what we're kind of hoping this is going to do. Do I think that's going to happen? Unfortunately, no. I just don't think this is going to end up being, for now, the right answer. And then for all the reasons we talked about, but let's get in a little bit deeper here. One, hiring systems are not designed to be able to make it easy for people to apply. They're intentionally difficult. Now, that may shock you, but they are intentionally difficult because that's one of the ways that companies screen for applicants. If it takes a whole bunch of steps for you to fill this thing out, it's going to filter out people who don't want to put in the work to apply. So we reduce that friction. Now more people possibly are going to apply who are wrong fits for those jobs, which requires more work on the HR and hiring manager to filter them out. Okay, so there's that piece. The second is, it really comes out, it's another place that you're dumping information into, right? It's got your your resume, your personal information, and all of these safeguards that it's another spot where you're like, hey, I'm going to put it here and hope that it works out. Now for the younger generations, for me down, not really that as big of a deal. We're pretty much used to understanding that our information's out on the web, and it's anybody really wants to get our stuff, they're going to find a way to get it. All right, you can do your best to lock it up, but in reality, we know that's the thing. Okay, so there's that piece. But on the other side of this, the business owners are not, they're going to have to change their overall hiring process and the way they go about it. And for many businesses, they don't even like hiring that much, let alone having to invest more time and energy into completely re-engineering the way they do the job offerings. And what do I mean by that? The way that job ads are written currently, collectively, are nebulous, and they're really hard to pin down exactly what the skill sets are to be successful. It's something that I see out there, and it drives me insane. And it's with this mindset that we want to try to cast the widest net possible so we can attract talent. Like, that's the idea. So for all these businesses that do not have very specifically written job descriptions and job ads, they're going to have to go through and redo all that. So that's the work that's going to happen as well, because right, in order for this AI to meet up with this AI, they both have to be looking and talking about the same thing, right? That's the idea. So that's an issue they're running into. That's going to be a problem for business owners. They are not going to want to do that. And also the HR and hiring managers are definitely not going to want to do that because that's work for them. Prior HR guy here, by the way. If you've long time viewers of the channel will know that. Again, it's not that I have a bad opinion of HR. It's that right now within the HR world and hiring, we've got some folks in there that, and some vast majority, aren't doing the right work, okay, for the right reasons, and it's very apparent. And this is going to be an issue. You have to come through here. So what am I doing with my clients, and how are we managing this? There's a couple things. We do have job applications that are out there for folks, as far as job ads and other things. But there's a large percentage of the jobs that we're doing where we're actually having people requesting that they submit hard copies of their resumes now instead of refilling something out. We're moving away from applicant tracking systems. And why are we doing that? It's because it hasn't been working. I mean, at period dot. By allowing as the freedom for anybody and people to apply for any job that we put out there with the click of a button, we've kind of moved away from that. Now we're asking people to, yes, they can still apply, but we're saying, hey, email here, go to this website and just upload your resume here. We don't need you filling out everything. We're gonna take a look at what you submitted, and then we'll go from there. And we've moved away from applicant tracking systems, the vast majority of my clients. And what has happened is, by just making it and it seems weird to say this, a little bit easier for people to apply, but they have to go through a couple different steps. What we found is that we were actually getting better fits for our job ads. So there's that. The other side is that we've spent a lot of time on the job ads themselves and the job description, making sure it's very clear on exactly what people are supposed to be doing, what the outcome that they have to deliver is, like those two things. And that's going to be very challenging for many businesses to do. Like they have a lot of people doing work, but they've never necessarily spent the time to quantify and qualify exactly what those positions are supposed to deliver. Once you have that, now when people are applying, they know exactly what they're getting into, and you get a better version of the people who are applying. They're closer to a good fit on that. Okay. Now, do we get less people applying? 100%. They are much less. We get much less, fewer. I don't know the right way to say that this morning. We get a lot less when it comes to applicants, and that's okay because the quality we're getting is better. Hey, so with this, I just wanted to bring this out here to folks that in the never-ending battle between jobs, basically people applying for jobs, and the people who are posting those jobs in a way to make it easier, better refine who's going to get there. We are now in a position to where the applicants are getting ready to have the upper hand, where they can start applying to jobs quick, do one thing and just have it out there. And I just don't think businesses are going to be prepared for this when this does make the change. Okay. So That's why I work with my clients, and we try to stay out in front of these, all of these trends and changes as much as we can. Okay, so yeah, there's that. Appreciate everybody hanging out this far. Again, if you would like to know more about how I actually work with my clients and help them build businesses that are stronger than, or again, stronger than they ever thought possible. They're much more profitable than they ever thought. We have operations, sales, everything really just focused on being their companies, the best companies they can be. Go ahead and check out summitbusinessguys.com. There's a link in the description. You're also going to find a link to the value builder assessment, is which I do with my clients, where they go through and they fill out this survey. It's an assessment, takes about 15 minutes. And on the back end of this, you're going to get a score on the 8 key functions within a business that provide value. So when you're looking to sell your company, these are the things that we want to make sure that look as great as they can, before we get the opportunity, make them good as can before we go to sale. All right. So what do we got? When I say, hey, Gettlepet man, I haven't seen you in forever. Good to see you. Jobs I got here on the comment. I just want to read out for everybody here. I think job searching is coming full circle where interpersonal interactions get you a job more. So that is 100% there, where networking, and that's kind of the thing why we're, without saying it out loud, networking is leading the charge on almost all hiring right now. So that is a absolutely great insight there. Thank you for adding that in there. So with that, I appreciate everybody who's hung out this long. Again, be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Hit that like button. Make sure you share this with anyone you think it could be helpful with. All right. Take care. We'll see you next time.